Yes. Just continuing working through stuff in my head to give voice to it so that it solidifies the thought. Yeah, I know. I ramble. It helps me. If you don't like it, don't listen. Just unsubscribe. Hell, I don't even have any subscribers yet. I don't even have anybody who's viewed any of my videos. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like a hidden little treasure chest. Well, not really hidden to me and not really a treasure. But it's more like a little Easter egg that somebody might find. That, who knows, maybe one day somebody will find it and they'll listen to all the videos and they'll say, wow, that really makes sense. Let's use his ideas because some of these other ideas are, well, basically they sound like they were trying to be too technical or I don't know. Who knows? I'm just rambling again. But I can do that because it's my video. And I don't care what anybody thinks anymore, so screw them. Anyways, today sorry about that. A little bit of a cold starting. Okay, today, when I woke up, all my brain latched onto, I know it's going to sound out there, but humanity's cycle of population on the planet. You know, like the civilization cycle. I'm not sure what I'm going to name it yet, but the Mayans had the grain calendar. Anybody who's looked into the Mayans knows about the grain calendar. 26,000 years. But I think we've all been here before. The Sphinx had water erosion on it that they tried to cover up and say that they were restoring the Sphinx. The pyramids, nobody knows how in the hell they got built. We find artifacts all over the place that the Smithsonian tucks away and hides from the people as to not disrupt the official story. So, I think that there's a group in charge that they've known what's been going on since the last cycle ended. They know what's been going on somehow. Maybe they're just the rich, greedy fucks from then who had enough money to shelter down and, get through whatever happened that killed off 90%. They had enough money to be able to, weather the storm. And then those same greedy fucks restarted, basically controlling the world. And then if you look into any of it, if you look into anything, actually research and read. I know it's boring for a lot of people, and a lot of people just can't, they just don't want to. Hell, I didn't want to when I was in school, unless it piqued my curiosity or grabbed my attention, and if it could somehow hold my attention, look out. So, if you look into it, it really looks, from everything I've read, it really, really looks like there's families like the Rothschilds, the Warburtons, the Rockefellers, the Pacers, the Monte Carlos, the Saxe-Coburg-Gothas. There's families that have been rich for generations. And I'm not talking, like all millionaires or maybe even billionaires. I'm talking country-owning people who are so rich that they view our money or everything we think about money as monopoly money. They don't use money anymore because it's like the King of England or the Queen of England. The Queen has trillions when you look at all the assets countries that England has control of. So she doesn't really ever need money. Ever. Families just like that. She's out in the open. So she's no better than our politicians. She's out in the open. I don't even think she's the richest one. She's just a figurehead that's kept in place to make this society, just like the U.S., kept in place to make this society continue to think they're free and that they've got their own choice, even though they're only picking between two people that none of us decided we wanted to be president. People that just, who runs for politics? Who has the money for that kind of campaign? Well, if they don't have it themselves and are part of some rich family, then they get donations from businesses and corporations who would really like some spots in their back scratched, for donating that $500,000 or that $1.2 million. You should really help out our company because that's how it works. Corporate America right now is driving the America that we all think we live under. Yeah, I'm rambling, I'm changing directions. Let it happen. This is for me, not you. Okay, corporate America really controls what we all view as America, but what we all view as America doesn't even exist because it's a fairy tale that's just been built upon and then supported with propaganda that we didn't even know was being used. Look at World War I. If you actually look into World War I, look up World War I propaganda. Babies on bayonets. Just type that into Google. No, you won't. I'm going to clear it up. Babies on bayonets propaganda. That's the name of the campaign. Type that up. It was all about World War I and the sinking of the Lusitania. The Lusitania, if you look into it, was illegally hauling ammunition and gunpowder and explosives. They were illegally hauling that stuff through international waters. Yes, it was a passenger vessel, but the manifest had gotten leaked somehow. So the Germans sunk it because it was wartime. And they were carrying weapons. The U.S. media focused on all the people that had died so that they could talk all of the people in America, all of the population, into saying, "Oh, this isn't right, we do need to go to war, the Germans are monsters." Even though like 50% of the population in the U.S. at that time had a Germanic background, and they were from Germany. Like 40 to 50% of the population. Nobody wanted to go to war. The tides got turned only because the Lusitania sunk. That's what got us into war. Start looking into stuff, people. You've been taught a story that is just to bolster your sense of patriotism and make you want to fight to your death for your country, unknowingly, without knowing that that country you're fighting to the deaths to protect doesn't exist in any form in the way it is in your head. In your head, you've inflated it, and you've put the spotlight on it, and you've built it up on a hill, because that's what the story does. It bolsters your sense of importance of it, so that you think all of these societal norms are, just and the right way to go. But hell, for the most part, right now we're living in like mirror world. Nothing we do makes any logical sense. If you want a clean environment, if you want people to be happy, if you want people to not die, None of what we're doing now makes any sense. Look at him. Yeah, a lot of people tie it to the marijuana plant because of pot and drugs. And that was an 80s campaign. The war on drugs. You can't have a war against an enemy like Russia, or you can't have a war against Al-Qaeda or the Taliban. The next best thing is drugs. Drugs is a perfect enemy because you can bust 4 or 5 people that you set up that you knew had mental problems. You could frame them for some ungodly amount of drugs that you found. Now you got the rest of population worried about this influx of illegal drugs. And look at what that guy on the news did. I mean, God, that guy was whacked out on drugs and he was selling it. He had 2 tons of heroin, or he had 47 bales of marijuana stuffed in his attic, or he had 613 hits of acid. I don't know. They used all kinds of stuff to keep people scared. When you're scared, your emotion has taken over, and the logical part of your brain has shut off. When you're scared, that background AI everybody has that just works to keep your ass safe, that background AI that picks up clues from everything you're not looking at directly, that background AI, when you're scared, it's going rifling through all of your memory drawers, trying to find a solution to the present situation. Now, if they've already taught you solutions in school or on commercials, if they've already told you what the solution is offhand in another place in the background where you weren't consciously being told, this is how you solve drug problems, this is how we do it. If it's hidden and it's snuck in, then you don't realize it. So when your little AI program in your brain reaches out looking for solutions, guess what it finds? This is how you solve drug problems. And that AI doesn't really have a fact checker. That AI is just a quick grab it and go. Because you're trying to survive. You're trying to, it's instinct. Fight or flight. So anything that's been given to you subconsciously or in the background of stuff that I might be watching a movie, but it's got background characters, it's got signs in the background, it's got products on tables strategically turned so I can see labels. It has everything I need to survive should this situation happen. And I don't even know I've been programmed with that conditioned response. Look at today. Today, if fucking Transformers came down and started fighting and everybody would kind of know what maybe they should do, they would fight in their heads about whether they should do it or not. But the moment they get scared, the moment something blows up, or the moment they're in danger, the AI takes over. Logic gets thrown out the window, and all of that conditioning programming just takes charge and starts auto-operating. You click over to autopilot and you're just going. Whatever that autopilot says you should do, instant response. Perfect programming. Now that you understand how that works, look into MK Ultra. Look up into Project Mockingbird. I've looked into all of this stuff because I see how it works. And nobody listens. If I sat down with somebody and I tried to show them that thought stream as I worked it out on the computer, they would be confused as hell because I've got 3 windows open. I've got a chat room going that might be on that topic that I'm just reading comments. Maybe it's to a video that was over that topic. A live video. I go to those and I read the comments as the guy's talking. Because yeah, I know I could sit down and I could read every one of these, and I've done it with a bunch of them, but other stories, I don't have the time. So the quickest way for me to absorb as much information about a topic as I can, the quickest way for me to do that is to go to a constantly flowing stream of information that's just completely packed full of random facts. Those random facts are scrolling on a screen, one after the other, just how I learn. That's how my brain works. So now my brain is listening to a video, and it's also reading comments about the video. That little 4-year-old back there, he's being kept a little bit busy. I finally got that little bastard entertained. Now if I'm at the gym while I'm watching a video and I'm reading the comments, even better. Because now not only do I have to keep moving, but I have to keep listening, I have to keep watching, and I have to keep reading. If I could play a video game with my left hand, a yo-yo with my right, all while yodeling and do this, that's appealing as shit to me. To be able to do that, that means my brain couldn't go on autopilot anywhere. I'd have all of that 4-year-old's attention. Even now, when I'm doing all of those things together, working out, reading, and listening to the podcast, even now doing that, I have an occasional thought stream that goes off in the background. I'm still listening to all that stuff, but I can hear that secondary question and all of the thought trains going on in the background of what I'm already doing. I don't have its full attention. If I can grab its full attention, I don't know what'll happen. And the hardest part about trying to grab its attention is it's really hard to find something that is interesting enough to me to grab it, to lock it in. I'll watch something and I'll absorb 40 gigs of knowledge about it, but then I get bored with it and I start wandering and I start thinking about what's happening in the background of what I'm watching, what's going on there. I don't know. It's tough to describe. That's why I keep making these videos. If I keep making the videos, maybe I'll get the description clarified. I'll bring it around so it makes sense to more people, because a lot of us aren't whacked out nut jobs. We're just not built for this reality, this shit. Everything we see, we know is wrong. We know it's not the right thing to do. We know we've been manipulated. So when you tell us that we'll get a ticket for jaywalking, we think, what the fuck is the deal? I'm walking across the road, there's no goddamn cars. We understand that the need for tickets is because you got dumbasses who try to cross when it's busy as fuck because they think they can. It's when you start holding people accountable for stuff like rolling through a stop sign in the middle of the country at night, when you can tell there's nobody coming for miles. When you have a stop sign in the middle of the country, and I can see for a mile down both roads that I'm about to cross, both sides, when I can see that there's nobody coming from the left, and there's nobody coming from the right, if it's 9 o'clock at night and it's dark, I I know there's nobody coming. So if I slow down to 5 miles an hour and just roll through it and keep moving, I'm not running the stop sign to be lazy. I'm just not using my brakes unnecessarily, which lets them last longer. I'm not stopping rolling, which saves gas money, which means I don't have to accelerate as hard because I'm not at a full stop. I'm doing it because it's the logical thing to do. It's how it makes sense to me. Why do I want to use more gas unnecessarily? Why do I want to replace my brake pads more often? I don't. I want to make all that last as long as possible. So when I roll through a stop sign, it's not because I didn't look and I wasn't paying attention. It's because I looked, I verified, I made sure nothing was coming. And then I accelerated through without wasting resources unnecessarily. Once you start arresting people or ticketing people or making shit illegal that has no victim, victimless crime, all in the names of safety, you are dumbing down society. If we want to really fix what's going on, it sounds mean as hell, but what would really work, I mean, just from the logical standpoint, yank the warning labels off of everything. Get rid of all of the protection acts that have been put in place against pharmaceutical companies, against chemical companies, against petroleum companies, against auto manufacturers. Take away all of the protections you've put in place for them. Now, when anything bad happens because of stupid people, if it's the person's fault, then, sorry, yeah, you did something dumb. We can't help you. It's your fault. Pharmaceutical company or whoever, if somebody dies because of an overdose or whatever, then you say, oh, pharmaceutical company, looks like you got something dangerous here. You're going to have to go to something safer. Sorry. Yeah, it's going to wreck the economy. It's going to do all kinds of stuff to what we're used to. Once we get rid of what we're used to, people like me that are 1 in 6 now because of vaccinations, people like me who are 1 in 6, if we start being able to actually do what we know is right because we've worked it out, even though it's expensive as fuck, I think if you've proven you know what you're talking about and you happen to be, give us a chance. Yeah, it might fail and it was expensive, but we keep working at it until we've perfected it. Now you've got a job process or a robot or a stamping process that's almost 100% reliable and doesn't take any extra man hour to accomplish it. But it was expensive, which meant the rich person didn't get as much money. Now, if a person has a job where all they have to do is push a button and watch a robot do its thing, and then wait for the next part to come in, push a button, and all they're doing is making sure the robot's doing what it's supposed to. If that's what they're doing, and then even if we give them a tiny little extra task, hey, if this robot does anything out of the abnormal, just push this button, which will run a self-diagnostic, and it'll tell you what you need to do to fix it. If anything happens out of the normal, push this button, do what it tells you to do to the robot. It'll have instructions, it'll have everything you need, it'll even have a video showing you how to do it with a walkthrough. Because I'm going to have virtual reality goggles that's going to use augmented reality so that you put them on. Hell, wear them while you're doing the job process. You're doing a job process as that robot's moving. That augmented reality goggle set is following its movements and telling you, yes, this is all green. let's just say it's for sealer or you're welding. That sealer robot is going along. You've got a vision program that's looking at that panel, tracing that sealer. Wherever it sees sealer where it's supposed to be, it projects a green line on your goggles that stays right over that sealer no matter how you're looking at it. Think about the yellow lines when you're watching football. There's not a guy who goes out there and paints those in between plays. When I was little, I thought there was, because how are they getting it to move, and how are all those guys running over it? That's augmented reality. That's what that is. That yellow line that's on football fields that constantly moves when you're watching TV. That's augmented reality, and nobody realizes it because nobody's wanted or had the interest to look into augmented reality. But I'm sure at some point they thought to themselves, wonder how that yellow line moves. Because I did. So I've already worked out how to do a lot of this stuff basically with no effort involved except pushing buttons, running programs. I don't have the time or the knowledge to do it right now to be able to make those programs. But if I did, I'd do it. I would make an augmented reality scanner that scans a die face and tells me wherever my low spot and high spot is, and then projects it directly onto the die face so that I know, hey, that spot right there is about 10,000 slow. Look, it's red. It needs to come up a little bit. So I can weld it. After I get done welding it, projector kicks back on. Oh wow, look, now it's 47 thousandths high because I welded it. And it shows up as a different color. So when I start grinding it down, I pause in between passes, and it'll get slightly lighter. It'll get slightly lighter red. It'll turn yellow. I'll grind some more. It gets more green. I start stoning it. I know to stop stoning it once that color of green matches the surrounding area color of green, and I can set my scanner to whatever sensitivity level I want. So I can go, tell me if anything's over 70 microns high. There's 1,000 microns in a millimeter. I could get this thing super precise. Hell, it would even show me where all the particles of dirt on the die are. I could have it light up a yellow circle around them because it knows it's there. I could do all of this, which would make repairs perfect and flawless. But we will never do it because it's too expensive. That's my sticking point. Every meeting I go to that they say, yeah, we need to, focus on quality first, safety first, all these things. But then we do the exact opposite in the name of profit. That doesn't make any sense to me, and it short circuits my brain. I've got a person of authority telling me to do what I know goes directly against what they're telling me is important. How am I supposed to handle that? I can't logically process that and make any sense of it, because to me, being ultra rich at the name of somebody else being destitute, that makes no sense to me. How can you be happy being that much better than somebody when they're miserable? I would be giving away all of my shit to people who didn't have as much. I already do that. I don't want to sound like narcissistic or like I've got a God complex or I'm living with some kind of a superiority complex, because I hope I'm not. But we don't need everything they try to make us think we do. I've looked into how psychoanalytics works. They use it in commercials to make you think if I get that product, I'll be happy. And everybody just wants to be happy. We've all been tricked. I'm gonna get off here. Have a good one, guys.